What's up, guys? Welcome to DrawSchool episode 17. On this episode, I'm going to show you guys the basics of Photoshop. Basically understanding the different tools in Photoshop, what they do, and how you can use them to make your art awesome. Now you're probably thinking like, isn't this a drawing YouTube channel? Yes, it is, but guys, Photoshop has so much to do with drawing, and when you get a job later in the future working in the industry, Photoshop is an industry standard. Now what that means is, like, if you have a team of people working on stuff, you're probably most likely going to be using Photoshop. You're going to need to learn how to draw in Photoshop. You're going to need to learn how to color in Photoshop. Now there's other jobs where you can work traditionally the full time, don't get me wrong, but most likely you will be using Photoshop, and I'm here to help you. If you are worried, if you're scared, if you're intimidated by it, don't worry, I got you. Now I think I've talked enough. Run my intro. Are in Photoshop. Okay, so we're going to talk about the basic tools in Photoshop. Here is the toolbar. We're going to talk about all these tools and how you can use them in your drawings, because we got to learn Photoshop, guys. You gotta learn Photoshop. First one, move tool. Move tool does what you would think it does. It moves. So you want to move a picture from here to there to here to there, it does that. Now every tool can be modified, and every tool has this bar up here. So here you can show transform tools or not show transform tools. I like to see them personally, and then you can set it to move groups or layers, but whatever, or auto select. So if you have multiple things, you can click this, and without having to change the layer, you can just click and move whatever you want to see. I can move something over here, or I can move this, but I don't like that selected because I can move just by pressing over here that item by pressing or having that layer selected. Alright, moving on, the next thing is artboard tool. Now I'm not going to do this, but basically you can select your artboard, so that you can select the artboard, and then you can create another artboard. If you wanted to do two different sizes of your drawing, you can do that, which is very helpful for graphic designers. Okay, next tool is the marquee tool. The marquee tool and any selection tool is super helpful, because once you make a selection like so, let's say we did that, right? You can do multiple things. You can say, okay, I just want to see that much, by creating a mask by pressing this button down here, right? Or you can say, I actually want to get rid of the ball by filling it with white color. Or you can fill it with a completely different color by clicking here, this is the color picker, selecting an orange, and option delete fills, or alt delete on a Windows computer. So there's so many things you can do within a selection. Now we have a rectangular selection, we have an elliptical selection, which is basically a circle. So let's say I wanted to select this circle, right? I'm trying to select it as good as I can. By holding down shift, it makes it more proportionate, but I didn't get it right. Well, the cool thing about the selection marquee tools is you can go up here to the select menu and go down to transform selection, and if I hold shift, I can move this a little less proportionate, because Photoshop defaults to moving everything proportionate. And what I mean by that is that if I try to size this without holding shift, it's going to increase all sides to keep it the shape that you had it. So to select it like right on the money, you have to hold down shift and go to the top here, hold down shift and go to the bottom, and there we go. We have selected this circle. Go up a little bit more. There we go. Alright, so now that we have this circle selected, we can do things like right clicking inside of it. We can copy it, we can cut it, we can create a new layer from it, We can mask it, we can feather it. So let's just go ahead and copy it. Let's have another ball on here. So we copy. Oh wait, I gotta be on the right layer first. Right click, layer via copy. And now we have another layer of the ball. Just the ball, no background. A little sliver of it. But there we go. That is what you can use the marquee tools for. The next thing down is the lasso tool. Now the lasso tool is used to select things. I'm using a mouse right now, so I'm not going to be as accurate as if I had my pen, but let's try. All right, so basically you can trace things like this, and let me just hurry up and do this. I know you guys don't want to watch me do this all day, so I'll just boom. So let's say I selected that. Now what I say, you can modify things, right? So I can go ahead and subtract all this area right here that I did terribly by pressing Option or Alt on a Windows, and I can get rid of it like that or like that. Now obviously if I was doing this for real, I would be taking my time, but for time's sake I'm holding Alt and I'm getting rid of this extra stuff. Now you can also hold Shift to add back, so I can add that back and so on, so forth. I can do all that. Alright, so that is the lasso tool. Then one more down, we have the polygonal lasso tool. Now this allows you to click points as you're selecting. So this is good if you're doing square things, buildings, any selections like this. Alright, polygonal, that's what that one does. The next one down is the magnetic lasso tool, which is kind of awesome because you don't have to be as careful. You still have to be careful, but it helps you. So as I'm tracing, it knows that there's an edge there of pixels. So it's following along with me. I know I can mess up still and go a little bit wide, but it's a lot easier to use, see? And boom. And then I can go in here and subtract the same way by pressing Alt and get rid of that side, and can add here. See? That's pretty cool. And then again, same rules apply. You can right click, you can cut, you can copy again, make it a new layer, and all those things. Now one thing I didn't tell you about the lasso tool is once you start a selection and you hold down Alt while you're doing it, now it turns it into a the polygonal lasso tool automatically, and you can just click, drag, and continue to go, or let go and do clicks. So this is what I usually do if I'm doing tracing something with the lasso tool. I'm going like this, and then I'll let go and I'll do a few clicks or whatever, and it just makes it a lot more useful that way. Alright, moving on to the next tool. This is the magic wand tool. Now the cool thing about the magic wand tool is you can do things like this. Let's say I wanted to get rid of this white space, this white background behind the ball. I can just click and it selected all of the white, right? And then I can just delete it. Well, you got to be on the right layer too, and it also can't be a smart object. This little symbol means smart object, so I have to right click, rasterize the layer, and now I can delete the background. Cool, that's awesome. I'm gonna bring back the background because I'm gonna use it for other things. So there's many ways that you can select things and do things differently and all that. Now, let's say I selected the red. You see how I only selected this section? Well, this up here in this bar up here, because remember all the tools will have different things in this bar up here that do different things. This tolerance level is how many pixels it will pick up. So if I turn this up to, let's say, 100, it will select more things. Like if I click in the same spot, you see I selected way more pixels. That's because I turned up the tolerance. Now let me put that back to 10. Okay, next tool, guys. Next tool, we have the object selection tool. Now this is a new tool from Photoshop, and I think it's super awesome. So I can select around this ball, right? And the tool, the program, will go ahead and select the object. It will find the object that it thinks you're trying to select. And in this case, it did a great job because there's a good clean edge around, but you gotta watch it. Sometimes it doesn't do that. Next tool is the quick selection tool. Now this works like a brush tool pretty much, So you'll have to brush in all the areas that you want to select. So for example, it just knew I was doing the ball because I selected in the ball. Now here I'm selecting this, and it kind of knows that I'm selecting that as well. But I'm not on that layer. I'm on this layer now, and I'll select it, and it's like, yep, that's what you wanted to select. And it does a great job as well. I don't use that one as much because the other one kind of does the same thing. And it's just a lot of overkill, a lot of extra. All right, next tool, we have the crop tool. Now you guys know what cropping is. Basically, it's selecting your artboard or selecting how you're going to frame your artwork. Now the cool thing about the crop tool is it has presets here on different ratios. You can do square, you can do 4:5, 16:9 is like 1080p, so it's basically like video format. And then you can do, or you can clear and you can make your own custom stuff. So if I wanted it to be 1080 by 720 or whatever you wanted it to be, you can also click this tool here, which will straighten things. And if, let's say this line was, wait, hold on, let me show you. Let me show you, because this tool is pretty awesome if you want to straighten things out. Let's take this guy and make it crooked a little bit. Back to the crop tool. Let's click this guy up here. And watch this. If I clicked here and here and let it go, it will straighten it out. So it's perfect for when you're trying to straighten out your pictures or your horizons on any like landscape photography. But you guys aren't photographers, you guys draw stuff. So, you know, that's useful for whenever you want to take pictures. Next, we have the perspective crop tool, but that's if you're doing things in 3D here, and we're not doing that. The slice tool is for building websites, so is the slice select tool. We're not doing that. This is the frame tool. It is also for websites. We're not doing that. Next, we have the eyedropper tool. This is a very important tool for drawing in Photoshop. So basically, you can select colors. So right now we have orange in the color picker. If you select the eyedropper, which I believe you grab with I, not E, as in EYE, I, and you can select color. So it is orange. We click here, and now see it is red. So you click here, it is that pinkish. It's awesome to figure out what colors are actually in pictures if you're actually wanting to use. If you throw in a picture here of reference, right, and you're actually creating a traditional painting outside of Photoshop, and you throw in your picture and you say, I want to mix some colors, and you click it, and you'll actually see what that color is. It's kind of like pinkish and black, and it'll be around there. That's a good way to use that outside of the program itself. Okay, then we have 3D material eyedropper tool. That's for working in 3D. Color sampler tool, ruler tool. You can measure from one point to the other. Note tool. You can write notes if you're working in a group or in a team. 1, 2, 3. Count tool. We don't need that because we can count to 3 pretty easy. Okay, moving on. I'm trying to go fast, guys, because I don't want this to be that long. I just want to give you a gist of what you can do here. Alright, next, this is the spot healing brush tool. This thing is pretty awesome. So let's say it's mostly used for photographers, but you can use it in your drawings sometimes. Let's say you made a little oopsie, right, and this little spot here is not something you want it to be there. You can just go ahead and brush that in, and then the program will get rid of it for you. Now, how awesome is that? It's usually used for like blemishes or dust particles in photography, but you can use it in your drawings as well if you like. Alright, so that's that tool. Let me go ahead and bring that dot back just in case we need it. Next thing is healing brush tool. Now the healing brush tool is the same thing as the other one, except you're picking the spot that you're gonna heal from. Now the program so let's say I want to heal from this spot, right? I'll click here, and it's choosing the spots up there to heal this right here. So basically, the program selects the spot for you. In the other one, for this one, you have more control. You select the spot. You guys got that? Let me know in the comments if you don't. Patch tool, same kind of deal. I don't use it that much. Contact aware move tool, I don't use it that much. And red eye tool is this for photography if you have red eyes. Cool. That's the spot healing brush or the healing brush tool. I leave it on spot healing brush because I love it personally. Alright, so the brush tool, the most important tool as an artist will be your brush tool. Let me create a new layer so I can show you guys how this works. Okay, I'm gonna bring my pen out for a second here. Hopefully it's working correctly. There it is. It is. Thank goodness. Alright, so I'm gonna select red. Oh, this is the cool thing about the brush tool. Once you hold Alt and you have the brush selected, it automatically goes to the eyedropper tool, so I can decide to paint in red. See this? Ooh. Now, with a Wacom tablet, you can do pressure sensitivity. Now you see how I'm going thin and then going thick? It's with pressure. Now that's this button up here. If I turn that off, it'll only be thick with no pressure sensitivity going into a thinner line. And then if I press it back, I can go thin again or thick again. And this button here is the opacity, so I can kind of do a gradient from dark to light, which is great for coloring and things of that nature, especially if you have like a painting brush like I have here. I can just paint and go down, paint and go down. If I wanted to do black, I can mix it into that like that, pick a color from there, mix it all together. Ooh, see, the brush tool is super awesome. You can do so many things. Like you can mess with all these things up here, the opacity, the flow, the smoothing. The only way to get good at that is to actually get into Photoshop and use it, but definitely get in there with the brush tool. Pencil tool, don't use it. Color replacement tool is kind of cool. I never use it, but let me show you what it does. So basically, let's say you wanted to make the red of this ball pink, right? Pink's too close. Let me do blue. If you wanted to do blue, right? I'll make my brush bigger with the right bracket, make it smaller with the left bracket, bigger with the right bracket, and I can color in here, and there you go. I just changed the color of that circle with the color replacement tool. The mixer brush is pretty awesome as well. Actually, what it does is what it sounds. It'll mix different colors of pixels together. So if I press here and I drag into that lighter blue, it'll get rid of it. If I press on the lighter blue and drag out, it'll mix it into the blue. Or you can drag back and forth and kind of mix it together and have, you see how I have this lighter thing? It's super awesome to create clouds. This tool is perfect for making clouds, guys. If you ever lay down some clouds in the sky and you want them to blend in with the sky, it's a perfect tool for that. Pro tip. Alright, next tool. Brush is awesome. Next tool, clone stamp tool. Now what this does is, so basically you pick an origin and then you stamp it somewhere else. So if you hold Alt, I can pick this circle and I can stamp it over here. Right? That's pretty awesome. Now look at this artwork that we're making. We're creating the Jackson Pollock. Alright, now you see this right here? It's affecting the current and below layers. So it started to pick up the white from the other red circle. So what we can do to avoid that is move it to just the current layer. Now if I select this again and throw the ball over here, now it's just the ball. So you guys always got to pay attention to this toolbar up here as well when you're selecting different tools. Alright, next tool. Pattern stamp tool, whatever, nobody uses it. Next is the history brush tool and art history brush tool. I never use those. I don't need a history of the brushes I use. I keep pretty good tabs on that. The eraser. Now I do love me some eraser because it's helpful. So let's say that I want to erase, right? I got little two tool presets that I created for myself. I have a hard eraser, which I can go in here and erase with hard edges like so, right? Whatever I want, just hard edges deleted from this crazy squiggles. Or I can grab soft eraser, which then I can erase soft edges, right? I suggest you guys do that. Maybe I'll make a video on how to create brushes and things like that in the future. Let me know in the comments if you would like that. Okay, next eraser tool, we have the background eraser tool I never used, but this magic eraser tool right here, it comes in handy. Remember when I said I was gonna leave the white because I might need to do something with it? Check it out. All right, so I'm on this layer, right? And there's this white around this ball. I can get rid of it just like this by clicking there. Boom. The magic eraser tool will get rid of a color based on pixels. There's also a tolerance controller up here for that. Now you can also click sample all layers, and I don't even have to click a specific layer. It would have just erased anything that was around like that. Like for example, let's click it. I'm not on this layer here with the blue ball, but I'll click here, and maybe sample all layers doesn't work. Yeah, it didn't, because now it's erasing it. So forget you, sample all layers. How about you work next time while I'm trying to do a freaking tutorial? You know what I'm saying? All right, next tool. All right, now we got definitely, let me turn on the background. Boom, there it is. This is a work of art. I'm selling it next week. We have a gradient tool. You guys know what a gradient does. If I don't want just a white background and I want maybe let's do pinks. Okay, if I want a pink gradient background, let's pick a cool one, nice light pastel-y one. Let's do this one, why not? And you can slide this up, make the gradient different. You can even add a color here. Let's say I want it to be more bluish, cyanish, and okay. And here we go, drag it from here to here. Boom! Look at that. We are adding to this crazy artwork right now. I'm not using this as a thumbnail because you guys are definitely not going to watch this video if I use that as a thumbnail. Moving on. Paint bucket tool. I think you guys know what this is. Let me show you how important lasso tools are again. Let's say I make a little squiggly here like this because I think it'll look dope there. And then I grab the paint bucket tool. I can fill it in with this blue color, no problem. No problem. Also, there is a 3D material drop tool, but we are not working in 3D, guys, so we'll just skip that. Next tool, we have the blur tool, and it does exactly what you think a blur tool would do. Now, up here we have the strength control. It's at 50%. And let me get rid of this selection, because if I don't get rid of it, then I won't be able to blur what I want to blur. All right, so Command B gets rid of selections. All right, here we go. I'm gonna blur this back here because it's in the background, and I am pressing and brushing because it takes a while to blur how you want it. And I think you guys can see how it's blurring into the distance. This is great for creating soft edges, hard and soft edges, so you can do like focus techniques, like what's in focus, what's not in focus. So it's a helpful tool for sure. Next, sharpen tool basically does the reverse. I can maybe bring it back, maybe make it sharp. Look at that. But it definitely brings out the pixels like crazy. But that's a pretty cool little texture there. I don't mind it. Next tool is smudge tool. It does what you think it would do. It smudges. Let's smudge this guy here. Ooh, yes. We are smudging. Look at that. It's like a lava lamp. Nice. Yeah, so it smudges. You can smudge on paper. You can smudge in Photoshop. Next. Oh, one thing I forgot to say. So this blur tool, right? Let's say you got the blur tool and you're blurring. If you hit Alt, it switches into the sharpen tool. It switches into the opposite thing. How cool is that? You don't even need to switch between things. You can just hold Alt depending on which one you're using, and it'll switch to the other one. Next tool, we have the dodge tool. Now what the dodge tool does, it's a photography term. It makes things lighter. Now I have it on highlights right now. Let me make it midtones. I can brush here and I can make that brighter, right? I can put it to shadows and I can make the shadows brighter down here. Now if that's not awesome, I don't know what is. Next tool, you guessed it, it's the burn tool. What does it do? The opposite. Yep, so midtones, I can make them darker, right? Just by doing this. Just by doing this, brushing it in, just like that. Now you can do it to all 3 tones as well. You can protect your tones so you don't go too far, too crazy. Sponge tool, what does it do? The sponge tool desaturates or saturates. So I can decide I want the middle of this ball to be gray. So I can just keep scrubbing it until it's desaturated. Don't mind me, I'm just scrubbing. Don't mind me, I'm just scrubbing. Oh, I went to the clone stamp tool on accident. How did that happen? I don't know. But here we go. Let's see if it's actually gray, guys. With the eyedropper tool, remember that? Press I, click it, and 100% gray. There we go. Next tool, where are we? Pen tool. The pen tool, I told you guys there's tons of ways to select things. The pen tool is the number one 100% best way to select something. And let me show you why. Alright, so basically I can go around and click here, 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 here with the pen tool, and here. You're probably like, oh, but you didn't really select it. What are you doing? This isn't a hexagon, it's a circle. You're right, it is. I'll click here and then I can hold down Command and drag now, and it selects it. Ooh, Command and drag. And then you can fix it by pulling these guys here like that. Select. Now the reason why the pen tool is the best way is because it selects the cleanest. It's the cleanest way to select things, like nice sharp lines, and I'll show you. I will show you, my friend. I can go, all right, so when you make a pen tool selection like that, it goes into the paths layers, and you have a work path here. So what I can do is hold down Command and click here, and it makes a selection, right? So then I can go back to my layers, go to the red ball, and I can hit copy, and we can create another ball from that. Look at that. Now, if you order your layers, if I put it at the top, it'll be on top of all that craziness. Man, this might be my new screensaver. I'm just saying, it's not that bad. It's a little crazy, but it's not that bad. All right, next, what do we have? Pen tool. Oh yeah, the pen tool has all these different things. You saw that I added anchor points to my selection already. All you have to do is click on a pen tool path, and this one will delete them. Then you can press Alt to delete as well. But you know, I stick to the regular pen tool. Type tool is exactly what you think it would be. You can type things with the type tool. Lorem ipsum. You can change all the things that you need to up here. Once you type it out, you can, you know, make it white or whatever you need to do. There it is. You can type horizontally, vertically, and there's also these awesome tools I just found out about called the type mask tools. So let's say you type something here and you go, I can't see you, right? So now you have a selection of that type, and I can go in here and delete. Wow, that's dope. Next, put it back. Next is path selection tool and direct selection tool. Now the difference between this and the regular move tool is that these will select paths and the white one selects the points in the paths, right? I don't use these much, but they're there if you need them. All right, the next thing is shape tools. The rectangular tool makes rectangles. The round rectangular tools will make rounded rectangles, and so on. Ellipse is a circle. Polygon, if you select polygon, you can create different size shapes. So up here you can say 8, right? If you want to draw a stop sign, bam, there it is. Now you have an octagon that you can color red if you want to make it into a stop sign. Random stop sign in this crazy piece of artwork. Here we go. Alright, there's also a line tool which you can create lines with, and a custom shapes tool, which if you go up here you can see a bunch of different shapes that you have already built into Photoshop. Some leaf trees, some wild animals, you have boats for whatever reason, and some flowers. Cool. I believe you can download more online, and you can have a whole section of stamps type thing. I don't really use it too much, but you can. Next is the hand tool. Now the hand tool, all the hand tool does is move around your artboard. Now I never select the hand tool because I just press spacebar. Let's say I'm painting with my brush, with my brushy, right? And I want to move up here, then I just press space and continue to paint. There's no need for me to grab the hand tool when I can just press the space bar, right? And I might be just messing up this beautiful artwork right now with these brush strokes, but whatever. Here we go. Next is the rotate view tool. Now this is helpful for you guys who like to draw on paper and you turn your paper to make specific, like, draw lines, specific strokes. So if you want to do that in Photoshop, you could turn this and say, yeah, I'm gonna make a stroke this way because that's what I'm comfortable doing. Strokes is this way, right? And then you can hit R, which is the thing. You can hold shift to do specific angles, and you're back to normal. This guy right here is the zoom tool. Now you don't need a zoom tool because there's this navigator here which you can click into or out of, and you can also press Command plus in or Command minus out. But if you wanted to use this tool and go to a specific area like that, or click here and go like that, then you can. And that is it, guys. I just went through all these tools. I know it was a lot. If it was too much, if you have questions on any particular tool, let me know in the comments, guys. Don't forget that there's so much more in the Photoshop, so that's just not it. There's also this menu up here: image, layer, type, select, filter, 3D, view, window, all these things. Maybe I'll go into depth one day in all these things. Let me know what you want to know, and I will help you out. Cool? Boom! There it is, guys. That was the video on the basics of Photoshop. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. I know there's pretty good amount of tools in there, and the better you know them, the better you can use them to make your art better. Ha! So there it is, guys. Please subscribe, like, hit that notification bell so you get notifications when I post new videos, and that will increase your chances in getting an Illo sketchbook because I give one away every month. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you liked it. If you have any questions, anything you want me to expand upon, please comment and I will help you guys out. All right, see you guys on the next one.